So I was looking through the kind of update patch notes just to kind of see everything I kind of missed while I was gone. And one change that kind of stuck out to me was a change that I kind of forgot actually happened. Basically what it was is in update 31.0, the kind of top path Juggernaut and Ultra Juggernaut kind of got a little bit of a knockback effect. And that was buffed slightly in the kind of most recent update. Now update 31 was of course a real long time ago, but I completely forgot this change actually just kind of happened. Since it's a tower that I don't really kind of use too often. Just due to the fact that Ultra Juggernaut and Juggernaut's just a bit too map dependent to really be kind of useful. So I figured today it would be kind of fun to kind of explore this change to see how much it really changes about the tower overall. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but this kind of feels like a change that was made in a kind of Battles 2 that was brought over from BTD6. Ninja QE does kind of do that sometimes to kind of underperforming towers in this game. There's usually some good changes that are made in Battles 2 that never make it to BTD6, but there are a handful that do make it into this game. I don't know if it is, don't quote me, if it was in Battles 2, don't quote me on that. But it definitely does feel like it changed from Battles 2. Although I wouldn't know, because I haven't read the patch notes for that game in a long time. Now unfortunately it doesn't affect the kind of tier 3, so you have to buy tier 4 in order to really see it, but I mean Juggernaut's not really that expensive anyway, so I won't wait too long. I brought Geraldo this time because why not? I was thinking maybe Jones, but I mean the more that I thought about it, I just kind of was like, I don't really think the extra Pierce would really be all that helpful, because I mean Juggernaut and Ultra Juggernaut has more than enough Pierce. Pierce isn't going to be an issue. So I figured like, you know, it'd be nice to have Geraldo for kind of like produce cooldowns and stuff like that. Alright, Juggernaut now. Let's see if we can kind of see it on the pinks and yellows. Yeah, I do see it happening a little bit. So that's a cool kind of mechanic. I do kind of like when Ninja QE kind of does like kind of little changes like this, as I think it's a lot more interesting than straight up doing like, you know, straight up damage buffs, like, I don't know, attack speed buffs or whatever. And so I think or like price cuts, you know. And I think while those are necessary, I don't think every change that happens needs to be like some, like, I don't know, like weird new mechanic that needs to be added. But I mean, I think every once in a while for kind of underperforming towers, it would be kind of cool to give it like kind of its own unique mechanic. Or even if the tower is not kind of underperforming, if it's just, I don't know, something you don't really kind of see too often. You know, like a tower that could be, I guess another example, I guess would be kind of Dark Champion. That got buffed a long time ago to where the kind of projectiles kind of bounce like Quincy's arrows do. So I thought that was a pretty unique change. And whilst I don't think Dark Champion or Legend Knight really kind of needed that, as I think those upgrades were fine in my opinion, I still think it's pretty cool that it happens. Now, will it make a huge difference? I'm not really too sure. I guess this would make it so that way Juggernaut has a little bit more time to kind of deal with kind of balloons. I don't know if it affects Moabs. I'm going to assume for tier 4, it doesn't, but for tier 5 it might. Also, speaking of mobs, I need to think about mob defense for kind of round 40. So I think I'll just go for kind of air bursts. That'd probably be the easiest way. Alright, let's see how the mob is. I mean, if it's not too good, I could always use Jerry's spinny thing, his blade trap. That's gonna pop pretty late, but actually the knockback effect I think kind of came in clutch there. If you saw, you know, it kind of knocked back the Cerams to keep it in range of this guy, as well as to give more time for this, so it's actually kind of a handy change there. I mean, I think we might still have beaten it, maybe without the kind of knockback, but I mean, I think it made it a lot easier. So I'm actually gonna save up straight for kind of Ultra Juggernaut right now. As I mean, it's only like 16,000, and these rounds aren't really too difficult. Because the next mob comes out on round 50, so I don't really need to worry about mob defense for them, and our balloon defense is pretty solid. I think we might just barely be able to afford Ultra Juggernaut before the mob, we're like 2-3k away. So I think we might afford it like by the end of 49, because 49 does give a lot of money in comparison to kind of all the other rounds. Yeah, easy. Ultra Juggernaut afforded before the mob, pretty sick. And then what else do I want to invest in? I could get Overclock, that wouldn't be a bad option. With kind of the, actually, now that I think about it, with the amount of money we have, since Ultra is going to be my main DPS. I could honestly see if I could save for Ultra Boost. I did get a price cut a little while ago, so it is actually affordable in chimps. The only issue is that for like a little bit more expensive towers, you won't really be able to get all 10 stacks, but I think with the Ultra Juggernaut, with how cheap our defense is going to be, I think we'll actually be able to afford Ultra Boost in enough time to be able to actually potentially get all 10 stacks, which would be pretty cool. Of course, as an engineer fan, I will never pass up the option to be able to use Ultra Boost in chimps. It's a bit of a shame it's so expensive. I would like to see it used in more games, but I can understand why you can't really feasibly use it. Alright, overclock now. And then I think we can honestly just coast up until kind of round 80. As when I look at the rounds and I think about them, I don't think there's any rounds that's going to be kind of too difficult. 63 is going to be incredibly easy. The only round I'd be worrying is kind of the BFB, but I think the BFB should be fine. Of course there is a ZOMG on 80, but again, I think we should be fine for that as well. If not, we do have Jerry's items. Alright, so let's see the BFB here. Yeah, easy, not even close. So I haven't noticed the kind of knockback effect on Moabs, so I'm guessing there is no knockback effect for Moabs, which I guess is fair. I guess that may make this tower just a little bit too strong. So if like that's the case, so I guess it'd be kind of better against Super Ceramics late game. As it would give more times for other towers in range to be able to kind of pop them, although I guess Ultra Juggernaut can handle Super Ceramics on its own just fine. But when I kind of think of Ultra Juggernaut, I kind of, I can't help but think is like, what situation would want to use this guy over Balloon Solver? And the only answer I can give for that is if the map layout just has a bunch of walls and it's just like kind of better for Ultra Juggernaut overall. But I mean, in all honesty, when I think about it, like I feel like I would just get Solver if I really wanted like a primary, like if I wanted some sort of ceramic cleanup in the primary category. Because I mean, Solver still does do decent mob damage late game, so it's not completely useless in that department. I think Ultra Juggernaut is just a little bit too niche to be able to kind of use consistently in like all the maps. You definitely could make it work in kind of beginner, intermediate, and some advanced maps. By the time you get up to extra maps, you know, it's going to be kind of an uphill battle to even kind of fully utilize this guy, because even though it is so cheap, you know, you don't want to invest all this money into a tower that it's not really going to be all that useful. You know, I just kind of had a little bit of a thought. Since I've been gone for so long, there's been a lot of balance changes that I actually don't really know about. So it is kind of fun seeing how the meta has kind of shifted since I've left. I mean, the kind of the big things that I can think of is kind of Druid of the Jungle and Druid of the Storm. Apparently, Druid of the Storm is actually a decent ceramic cleanup option now, so that's pretty cool. So I guess it's kind of replaced the kind of downdraft meta that we had a little while ago. I still do kind of miss that meta. That was pretty fun, but I mean, I definitely do see why Ninja Kiwi did nerf it. It was kind of heavily relied upon, and so now it's just not really as kind of as good as it was before. But thankfully, we do have Druid of the Storm to kind of clean that up. And it is kind of fun too, because I do remember in BTD5, the BTD5 days, Tornado Wizard was a pretty decent option from what I remember. And you know, going from BTD5 to BTD6, you know, Wizard not having the Tornado Wizard anymore and having Druid have that, always felt like, you know, kind of Ball Lightning and Druid of Storm were always just kind of meh. Superstorm was fun, but again, it's just so expensive that, you know, saving up for it in like a real game, unless you have farms enabled, it just didn't really feel like it was worth it. And apparently, Open is actually good now. Who would have thunk? He's spent like, what, like 10 updates being like consistently one of the worst heroes. Now he's actually somewhat decent now. Are we gonna pop the ZMG? Yeah, we'll finish it off on the way around. Yeah, I'll discuss Oben changes more in kind of its own separate video. I still think Oben is a bit niche because he really mainly synergizes with druids. And not really magic monkeys like how he was like when the game first came out. Because if I remember correctly, he gave, what was it, like +1 pierce to all magic monkeys in radius at like, what, like level 2? I could get primary training, but do I really need the range and projectile speed? Because, I mean, Pierce were fine. I think I'd rather just save the 865, put that into Ultra Boost, even though it's not really a whole lot of money. This does allow me to get Ultra Boost a little bit earlier. I'm curious to see how 85 is if we're going to be fighting against 2 ZOMGs. As long as we just kind of pop the first ZOMG, yeah, we're fine. The second ZOMG, I guess we're just going to have to get on the way around. Alright, so we should be able to clean these up just fine. Perfect. And I mean, if we're not fine, I could panic use Blade Trap if I really need to. Do we need to? Almost. Okay, so let's see how 86 is. Don't think it should be too bad. 87 might be a bit of a problem. If we struggle against, what was it, 84 that has 2 ZOMGs? This round has 4. This might be a Blade Trap mode, or I could utilize Hot Sauce, but I don't really want to. We're showcasing off just the pure power of Juggernaut here. But I mean, I can look at the damage and see if we're struggling. If it's looking bad, I'll use Hot Sauce for the way around. It's looking bad, okay. And I did do some bad Ultra Boost, not Ultra Boost, overclock timing. Because I think it's going to wear off by the time ZOMGs get in range. I don't even know, like, even if I Blade Trap this, I don't think that would even help. But thankfully, the kind of Juggernaut balls are catching, yeah. Okay, so what we'll do is they'll just do this at the start. And then I think that's really about it, because I mean, overclocked Hot Sauce is pretty good. Alright, so that just should hopefully give us a little bit of damage that we need here. Yeah. And so on the way around, I'm actually going to put down a glue just to help slow stuff down. Then overclock came back just in time. And that Pierce just got absolutely annihilated. And then I don't think I need, no, I don't need that. Perfect. We're like less than 1,000 away from Ultra Boost. Alright, perfect. So now that we can gain full uptime, as well as we're going to get overclock stacks. Only downside is that we're only going to like slowly get stronger over the course of the run. Because I need to use the overclock ability 10 times before I actually see any significant changes. But I think what I'll do next is I'll just invest into some light support, so I'll get Relentless. Relentless might not even be needed, so I guess I'll just stop at Mob Glue. How are DDTs? They're okay. So I definitely want this for 95. If I could afford Sabo, that'd be perfect. Alright, I'm actually gonna get this just to help out this guy, because this guy definitely would benefit from Pierce, as well as range too. And then I'll get Sabo just in case. Alright, let's see how DDTs are. I think they should be fine. Yeah, easy. So hopefully 95 won't be too bad. I'm still gonna get Sabo just in case. Because I think it would also be helpful for 99, which would be a real problem round. You know, I think I can just kind of save money until the round 100, which I do think I need to invest in Spike Storm. I don't think this guy has enough single target damage in the tank there. Alright, so 95. I'm just going to use Sabo immediately to, I guess, just kind of get ahead. And I look at it, wasn't really necessary, needed, but every little bit helps. So I'm actually just going to get Spike Storm in advance, because why not? And then I guess it could also help for 95 as well. Not 95, 99. But we officially have all 10 stacks, so it's perfect. And at this point, ZOMGs are basically getting melted. And even though we need to kind of clean up the insides on the way around, just the ZOMG layer itself isn't too bad. Although I guess 97 would be the ultimate test of that, but I don't think 97 should be all that bad either. Although it won't really be kind of a conclusive test because this Spike Storm would be kind of helping out when popping the ZOMG layer. Yeah, but I mean, the second ZOMG popped fairly quickly. So 98 is usually around everyone's worried about, but here it shouldn't be too bad. Since the main issue of 98 is usually Pierce, and this guy has more than enough Pierce to handle this round. Not even close. So for 99, I'm actually just going to use Sabo immediately. And it seems like for DTs, you didn't even need to. So I'm just going to use this guy immediately, because we'll probably need the extra damage. And I think we'll be able to get 2 ability uses off, which I think will be all I need here. Alright, so Spike Storm again. Alright, can you pop, please? Alright, slow down for DTs, and hopefully we can clutch up ZMGs here. As long as there's this in-range attack, I'm going to get Primary Mansoring just for more range, so it can attack as long as it can. I could have... Yeah, I think we're dead here, unfortunately. I can easily kind of clutch this up with using Rejuve to get 2 Spike Storms off immediately instead of kind of waiting for the cooldown. I actually kind of forgot Grifaldo was here. Alright, so what I'll do, use that, Rejuve, use this, and use that again. So I think that'll help it pop earlier. And I'll refresh Hot Sauce because I noticed it wasn't up. Do I really need to use yet another Rejuve? I shouldn't, because it should pop pretty soon. Alright, perfect. And this should be more than enough time. Especially with Sabo in the field, you need to get Prime Mentoring just for the increased range, just in case. And that's game. Alright, so kind of a pretty fun change overall. Once we got to late game, I didn't really kind of notice the change much. But I mean, I definitely can see how it'd be handy for kind of early game stuff, and the kind of mid game as well, since this guy's so cheap that it's a pretty solid mid game option, provided the map has like adequate wall space. But yeah, pretty kind of fun change overall. Hopefully NGQ kind of does more to towers like this, not like very often, but just like every once in a while. It'd be pretty cool if NGQ kind of did something kind of like what they did to kind of the Juggernaut in 31.0.